The day started like any other quiet morning in our neighborhood. Sun barely up, birds chirping, coffee still hot in my hand. My wife was outside, trimming the roses she'd planted years ago when we first moved in. Those flowers meant something to her. They were peace. They were home. Then the black SUV rolled in. No logo. No police markings. Just two men stepping out wearing cheap tactical vests that screamed fake authority. HOA enforcers. The kind that think a badge from an office printer makes them kings. They didn't knock. They didn't introduce themselves. They started yelling. One of them waved a clipboard like it was a weapon. Unauthorized landscaping. Violation of HOA codes. My wife tried to explain, calm, respectful, hand shaking but voice steady. Sir, these were approved years ago. We've lived here 12 years. That's when one of them shoved her shoulder. I was still inside when I heard her cry out. By the time I stepped onto the porch, coffee forgotten, I saw something no husband ever forgets. One enforcer grabbed her arm. The other swung. He punched my wife. Not hard enough to knock her down, but hard enough to cross a line you don't come back from. Everything after that went quiet. I'm a veteran. 2 tours. Years of discipline drilled into me. I don't look for fights. I avoid them. I've spent my life learning how not to lose control. But there are rules even war teaches you. You don't touch civilians. You don't abuse power. And you never, ever put your hands on someone who can't defend themselves. I stepped off the porch slowly. The enforcer smirked. Back off, old man. HOA business. Old man. I asked one question. Calm. Clear. Did you just hit my wife? He laughed. That was his last mistake. I didn't rage. I didn't scream. I moved with precision. Years of muscle memory doing what it was trained to do. I restrained them. Fast. Controlled. No weapons. No excessive force. But enough. Enough to put them on the ground. Enough to make sure they weren't touching anyone again. Neighbors poured out of their houses. Phones came out. Someone screamed they were calling 911. Good. Because I wanted the police there. When officers arrived, the enforcers tried flipping the script. Claimed assault. Claimed they were just doing their job. Until my wife showed her bruised arm. Until 6 neighbors stepped forward. Until video footage surfaced from 3 different angles. Turns out these enforcers weren't even legally authorized. No permits. No proper documentation. Just hired muscle working for a corrupt HOA president who thought intimidation was cheaper than due process. The officers put the cuffs on the enforcers. Not me. EMS checked my wife. She was shaken, bruised, but strong. Stronger than anyone in that neighborhood realized. The HOA president showed up later, furious, threatening lawsuits. That didn't age well. Because here's what they didn't know. I document everything. I had years of HOA emails. Recorded meetings. Illegal fines. Harassment notices sent without cause. We turned it all over to a lawyer the next day. What followed wasn't quick. But it was thorough. The enforcers were charged with assault. The HOA president was investigated for fraud and intimidation. The HOA itself was audited. 6 months later, a judge dissolved the entire HOA. No more fines. No more fake authority. No more hired bullies. My wife replanted her roses. Bigger. Brighter. And every time I see them bloom, I'm reminded of something important. Strength isn't about throwing the first punch. It's about knowing when to stand still. And when to stand up. Because some lines, once crossed, change everything. And this time, the people who thought they were untouchable. They finally learned what accountability feels like.